themselves and tell us a little bit about yourself and where you John,
You start?
take it away?
Hi, thanks for being here. I'm John Hambrock. I create the comic strip, the syndicated comic strip with King Features, The Brilliant Mind of Edison Lee. And I'm here because T had asked me last fall to do a Popeye Cartoon Club Sunday comic strip, which I jumped on immediately when I had the opportunity, and that's why I'm here today. So I look forward to talking to everybody here. Thanks.
I'm Bobby London, and I was fired from King Features in 1992 off of the Popeye strip for doing a storyline about Roe v. Wade, and after 20 years, they finally decided I was okay. They put out a 2-volume book of my entire 6-year run of the Popeye daily newspaper strip. I was the guy who followed Bud Sagendorf, and there was also some controversy about whether or not I was going to get the Sunday page, and that had a lot to do with why I left, because I wasn't going to get a Sunday page. So that's my life in a nutshell with Popeye, except of course that Popeye's been, aside from my own characters, he's been my favorite cartoon character since I was a kid.
I'm Jeffrey Brown. You probably know me from Star Wars books, but I grew up Popeye, and so he invited me to do a strip for the cartoon club, and so yeah, I was excited to do that. That's what brings me here today.
I'm Shayna Garrity. I do mostly webcomics, and I have a graphic novel coming out next year with Simon & Schuster. And I am another artist who Popeye's Cartoon Club Sunday strip with my husband Andrew here, and that's what I'm doing here.
I'm Andrew Freiber. I'm the curator of the Cartoon Art Museum in San Francisco. Lifelong Popeye fan. Read the introductions for Bobby's Popeye collections. I should mention we'll people out to get one signed by Bobby himself. But yeah, I'm a lifelong Popeye fan. I was thrilled when he told me about all the everything they had in store for Popeye's 90th anniversary, and was really excited to hear about the Cartoon Club, and she can fill us in on that.
And this is Robin.
Hi, Robin.
You say hi, Robin?
Robin also got fired from King Features. Yes, so I'm also a lifelong Popeye fan. I was growing up when Bobby was drawing Popeye, and so he was my introduction to the Popeye comics.
I'm very sorry about that.
And when we started talking about Popeye's 90th birthday and how important Popeye is to cartooning, I remember I took classes at SVA with Tom Hart, and I remembered from Tom's class learning about Popeye's Cartoon Club, which was something that Seagar used to do. He did it in 1934, 1935, where he would take the end of Sappho, and sometimes the whole area of Sappho, and do something called Popeye's Cartoon Club. For those of you who don't know, Sappho was a strip that ran at the bottom of Popeye on the Sunday page. And Popeye's Cartoon Club was a bunch of different things. It was lessons on how to draw, and it was cartoons sent in by his fans, usually children, and sometimes ideas sent in by his fans that he would illustrate. So I've got a couple of those that you can see here. Apologies for the very ad hoc setup. For some reason, my slideshow kept crashing. So here's one where all of these different little cartoons were drawn by different fans. And I thought this was so cool that Seagar had this really sort of democratic approach to publishing in the paper. He was publishing stuff. Here's one of the ones that was a drawing lesson, and then there's a kind of morbid comic at the end by a fan again. It's a really democratic approach to cartooning, allowing fans to publish in the paper alongside Popeye, which is, one of the greatest, most popular comic strips of all time. And so I'm coming from a very kind of fandom immersive background. I worked in webcomics before I came to King Features. I've written fan fiction. I published a book of fan fiction a few years ago with the blessing of the actual license holders. And so I always really love this idea of being able to invite fans to, to participate in a legacy of something like Popeye. And from there, I really, I thought, well, this is, it's something Seagar did. It's something that I would love to do. We also have so many, Popeye fans who find Popeye on social media, and I know so many wonderful cartoonists who don't necessarily, who I want to introduce to those fans, because those fans don't necessarily always know what's going on in comics today. So what we're doing is we're inviting 52 cartoonists to do Popeye comic strips for the length of the year, from Popeye's birthday this year to Popeye's birthday next year. And, so a bunch of the folks here have been generous enough to contribute to that, and it's been a really amazing opportunity. So, to just work with so many different people and see how different people interpret Popeye, what parts of Popeye's legacy are important to people, what things they care about, and see Popeye translated into all of these different artistic styles and humor sensibilities. So, I guess, John, if you want to start talking about what you did for your strip, I've got it here. You can kind of talk a little bit about that. And everybody's sort of Popeye inspirations.
Can I tell you a quick story about Popeye?
Absolutely.
So I hadn't thought about this for a long time, and it came to me when I was doing this. My first introduction to Popeye was my older brother had some books, and I remember reading Popeye, but I had a great uncle that he was in the Navy when he had an anchor tattoo on his arm, and he had a cigarette he would always have in his mouth, and he always used cigarette holders, and the cigarette would stick out sort of the side, and he wore these thick, heavy glasses. And I remember about 3 years old, sitting on his lap, and to me he was Popeye for some reason. And I remember one time, this is very vivid now, taking off his glasses and hoping that his one eyeball would just But it's so funny when you're little, the things you see in your head. I'm sure Robin is developing some of those as well. I love Wimpy. And it's funny when you asked about this, I mentioned my wife Ann is back here, and I said, what would you do if you were doing this? And we both agreed that Wimpy was a shoe-in. I love Wimpy because I always love the ways he gets around paying for his hamburgers. And so this is a real fun one to do. And I'd never drawn Popeye before, and so I didn't want to copy him exactly as he was. I wanted to sort of develop my own style of Popeye. But even doing that, I found myself going back to the way Seeker used to draw it. So I tried to set it apart a little bit, and I just think this is a very simple, fun gag, and I think it's what carries over to the old days of the early Popeye strip. I don't know how often Popeye had a diner or a restaurant. I mean, he just seemed to show up in the oddest places at the oddest times for whatever reason.
The restaurant belonged to a guy named Roughhouse, who was this big, kind of a Pluto-ish kind of a cook. And he ran a cafe on the pier or something.
But I remember it was inconsistent, wasn't it?
It became the most constant motif of the strip on the 1950s.
Or the 50s.
On Sunday.
Okay.
On Sunday, it would always take place almost invariably in the Roughhouse Cafe. And Wimpy pretty much took over the Sunday page.
I love Wimpy. I really do. He's one of my favorite characters, actually more than Popeye.
All right. So Jeff, I'm gonna bring yours up and we can talk about that. So very, very different ones here. So.
Yeah, so, yeah, I think the first thing that came to my mind was like wanting to explore Popeye and Olive Oil's relationship, and which, you know, only having the space for one Sunday strip is like, how can I boil something down? And so I like this idea of both them having a relationship, but then Popeye kind of, you know, he's kind of oblivious. And so I like to bring my own life into my work, and I'm kind of oblivious most of the time. And so it's kind of like just a story about me where, you know, my wife will think I'm doing like, oh, he's being sweet. Really, I'm just being oblivious, and you know, I'm thinking about her, but like it's like, oh, I wonder if Jennifer will make that chicken that I like. Not that it's always like that.
Oh no.
But yeah, so and yeah, for me, you know, I grew up with Popeye, but one of the fun things was when my older son is now 12, but when he was maybe 4 or 5, they were re-releasing the Popeye, the original Popeye cartoons on DVD, and getting those and watching those with him was really fun. It was stuff that I hadn't watched since I was a kid. Yeah.
All right, and then I have Shane and Andrew's strip, which has not been published yet, so everybody in this room is getting a sneak preview of it. And that is right here. See the end, because this is, I was actually very shocked that this was the first strip I got that had this motif in it. Trouble getting it to please read. I apologize again for the technical nature, the lack of technical nature of this.
Yeah, we have to do the first, we have to do the strip about Popeye living in a garbage can. This would be my legacy. We actually, Brandon and I are longtime ECC guard fans, and what I really want to get to the end of the last panel, where the most fun part of doing this was doing Popeye talk for it, because we wanted to talk in Popeye. We like doing Popeye in particular, patois, how do you pronounce it? Yes. And I wish we could go to the last panel where Popeye says, bare naked women, ladies, put on your brazoos. Because brazoo is canonically, in the Seagar strips, how Popeye pronounces brazier. And this used to come up. Yeah, this would come up because Popeye used to dress in drag a lot in the E.C. Seagar strips. He just loved every storyline where Popeye had to put on a brazoo and a slip, and try to seduce some angry old lady or something.
If you read those strips, what I love about that, that's usually his first plan.
That is, the
First.
drag really is Popeye's go-to thing for a while. Yeah, around the 1930s he was doing that a lot.
He says he's amphibious.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were thrilled to be asked to be part of this, and growing up on the streets, of course, we knew all the main streets. We knew all the alternate versions to Popeye. The Popeye theme song.
Yeah, it was bare naked women where I was growing up. It was bald-headed women.
Bald naked women.
Bald naked women is weird.
On my favorite.
Well, that's just strange.
Well, and then we had this very long conversation when they did this, where we started taking a tally on Twitter of who did what versions in their schools. So, because we did, I eats all the worms and I spits out the germs.
Yeah, that's a version.
I never heard that one.
Yeah.
This is all going to happen to Popeye over the course of this curse, this storyline continues. But
Second installment's gonna happen in the frying pan.
Yeah. And then, I kind of set this up as an excuse for the Sea Hag, because he's one of my all-time favorite, cartoon villains. And I also put in olive oil, because I really wanted to, I worked really hard to come up with an idea that would be olive oil centric, and I didn't have one, because I like dry olive oil better than dry Popeye, honestly.
And I super love that Alice is in the lake.
Yeah, Alice the Goon is among the bare naked women at the end,
Yeah, I'm happy to be there. What does Popeye eat, Robin? What's his favorite food?
Spinach.
That's right.
Yeah. Train him up.
So, so Bobby, I'd like to bring this back to you because you're the one person who doesn't have strip in this.
That's correct.
But I think that one of the things that I maybe contrary to things you may have heard about, one of the things that I really loved about your take on Popeye was how you brought modern day politics into it.
And that's what a lot of people hated.
But what was funny to me is that when people hated it about it, you go back and look at the old comics, and the old comics are very political. There's extremely socialist. There's an entire storyline where Popeye starts a bank to give money away, and people don't believe him.
It was a month of depression gags. You know?
Yeah.
I can imagine the editor then going, well, it's not going to be a depression all the time, you know? You want to do something a little more universal, you know? I don't know. And he was also he was a maritime sailor. And there was I remember one strip where he and Roughhouse are talking about the union. They were just talking about whether or not he was unionized and stuff. And they're going, we should go on strike, blah, blah, blah. Because there were all these crazy strikes going on in the country at that time where people were getting killed. The other episode, the other adventure was the King Blozo character is when Bud Saginaw was doing the comic book, he had to rename the land that King Blozo lived in and call it Spinachovia, but the original name of it was Natcelia. And so you know what that was about. And word has it that Mr. Seymour did it purposely that way to upset Hearst, because Hearst was known to be a big fan of the Nazi Party in the early 30s. So I think there's a whole series of missing Popeye strips that were censored. Seagar drawn strips that were dropped by Hearst that occasionally turn up in auction, like a heritage auction and stuff. So Hearst, I shouldn't get into Hearst's history, but that's kind of the way every millionaire was then, just like it is now. So what goes around goes around.
So one of the things I wanted to ask you, Bobby, is what you really love about drawing Popeye. Like what parts of what draws you to Popeye?
I love drawing olive oil. I think drawing olive oil, after having to work for Hugh Hefner for about 15 years, drawing olive oil was sort of a vacation from, having to draw the sexy women, But the thing about Olive is that I've always loved Olive, and the way to draw is just go like this, and this, and the gunboat feet that are down there, and she's just she became such a great character, and she was not at all really like the character the character of the movies kind of reflected what Olive Oil was really like in the strip. She was much ornerier, and what else do I like about it? Well, it's hard to know where to start, because I was there. I was the right age to see Popeye appear on the TV screen for the first time. That old syndicated package of old Fleischer cartoons hit television right about the time I was 6 years old. So, and that one with the Three Stooges and even Mickey Mouse and everything like that. So all this old stuff looked new to all of us kids who were like, what? And what do you mean it's old? What's old? So everything seemed new to us, and Popeye seemed like the strangest looking character I ever saw in all of my 6 years on the planet, okay? Because I was a Mickey Mouse fan before that, and of course, UB Irish was a genius, a design genius, and Mickey Mouse was such a simple, gorgeously designed character, but it's also, he's always kind of cute and everything. But all of a sudden they threw this film clip, the opening of the first picture where Popeye is singing his theme song. He's strolling down the boat, and he's just strutting along and hitting everything that turns into something else. And I don't. There's just something about. First of all, he was a human being, and I was just struck by how I was just overflowed with funny animal characters for a few years. This was the first person character I ever saw. And like I said, he was so strange looking that I just loved him, you know. I just like, oh my God, look at this guy. And as I got a little older, my dad used to tell me stories about this comic strip. So I had heard stories about Castor Oil and Olive's brother and the Sea Hag and everything. I don't know where I'm going with that. I was just probably, I opened up my first grade notebook for the first time last week, because I'm doing all this research about myself, and because I'm doing another book, a Dirty Dark book from IDW, and they need, which will eventually come out sometime, and I had to write a biography section, so I'm going through all my old stuff. Opened my first grade notebook, and I hadn't seen it since I closed it in 1958, and there were so many Popeye references in my workbook that I was just astonished myself at how obsessed I was with this character. It was just it was a little freaky, but he was just sort of always my favorite.
So Andrew, I know you have a lot of childhood affinity with Popeye as well. So I'd love for you to talk a little bit about your history with Popeye.
Popeye, he's always been, from day one, he was a very popular fan favorite character, and when I was growing up in the early 80s, there's still a lot of Popeye merchandise everywhere, so I had coloring books, I had the shredded green Big League 2 Popeye bubble gum.
It was supposed to be spinach.
It was supposed to be spinach. Never drew the anchors on my arms or anything, but...
I considered doing that for today, but then I ended up wearing a long sleeve jacket, so...
And I personally love the Robert Altman, Robin Williams Popeye movie. I know it's you either love it or hate it. But
that came out when we were little. Yeah.
I was about his age when that came out, and just loved it. Absolutely loved it. Will defend it. If you want to get a fight going, talk bad about it. But yeah, between that and just constant Popeye broadcasts on television, catching him, early morning every Saturday. The one thing I would not watch was Popeye and Son.
Yeah.
I gotta say that one. And I say this about any number of things as a fan. Now that you have superheroes dominating the media, you have so many cartoon and comic adaptations, but that came out when I was about 11 years old, and I was a huge Popeye fan. It's like they went out of their way to make a Popeye cartoon that I would watch, and I was shocked because I loved Olive Oil and Alice the Goon doing a Private Benjamin thing, being in the army in the early 80s. I would watch any Popeye thing, I would watch any Popeye cartoon, and then Popeye and Son, I just hit this wall. It's like,
I'm still not entirely sure who the target audience for Popeye and Son was, but...
I don't know either. They asked Bud Sagdorf and I to design what the kid character was going to look like. And I don't know, they wouldn't show me, they refused to show me what Bud did, but all I did was a little Popeye, because that's what I thought Popeye's son was supposed to look like. Because there were pictures in the original strip of him as a baby where he looks just the same. So I figured, well, this is Popeye's son, and I was really shocked to see that, the kid looked a little more like ham gravy than Popeye. So I found that very disturbing. And it's on them, not me. But it was the brainchild of the head of licensing department at that time, a fellow named Jeff Brown, and he was. I don't exactly know why you're laughing, but oh, you're laughing for
He's Jeff.
Jeff Brown is right next to you.
Oh, your last name is Brown?
oh, I'm sorry.
My career started really young.
What's new?
Very young when I came up with
I'm sorry.
Go on.
And he thought that this was going to be his magnum opus kind of thing, where the strip was going to be revitalized. And then I came along and did this smart-ass idea of doing what you should do with the strip and with the series. Really, if you're going to do it, I mean, when they asked me to take it over, they told me we wanted to be a gag-a-day strip, and I thought, wow. I could picture a review in the Comics Journal that says Bobby Linden kills filmable theater, because it was so famous for being a story strip that I was prepared to pick it up wherever Mr. Sagendorf left it when I went in the original job, and then I was told to do this. So the only way out of it for me was to think of this idea of all the characters trying to keep up with the times, except for Popeye, and Jeff Brown really hated me for it, because that's what he was trying to do too. Except he took away Popeye's pipe and made him wear a baseball cap and a Hawaiian shirt. And I was surprised he didn't give him a set of teeth, So I was on the wrong side of the licensing department almost from day one, without even knowing why. And I'm very pleased to know that everybody hates it.
So John, Jeff, Shannon, since none of you talked about your experiences with Popeye,
Oh, I'm sorry.
hear about. No, it's okay. I just would love, I would love to hear about, where you started out with Popeye. Where your introductions to Popeye, or your memories of Popeye. How you remember Popeye coming into your life.
I don't think I was really super into Popeye until adulthood, thanks to the EC Seaguar strip started coming out from Fantagraphics, and I got really into the Seaguar version. Of course, I watched the cartoons on TV growing up, and I also liked the Robin Williams movie, but I really got into it when the I really got into it when the Seaguar strips became available again, and I could read those, and that was probably around the time I was getting out of college and getting really interested in being a cartoonist myself. And Andrew is the one with the lifelong Popeye obsession, and it's a little weird because he's like, we're about the same age, and Popeye was certainly a thing when we were kids. There were like Saturday morning cartoons and stuff, and he wasn't like hugely in the mainstream. And you look at all of Andrew's like childhood drawings from when he was about Robin's age here, and it's superheroes, Star Wars characters, and Popeye. And like, I think most little kids in the 80s are into like superheroes and Star Wars, but Popeye, I don't know where the Popeye obsession came from exactly. There's so much Popeye in his artwork.
I live nowhere near the water.
No, we grew
Totally
up in
landlocked.
Ohio. Yeah.
Part of Ohio.
Yeah.
So, I was not a sailor.
Yeah, so my Popeye interest really developed when I got to read the original strips, and I'm a really big Seaguar fan. Okay, Robert, let's go.
So like I said, I watched the cartoons when I was a kid, and I don't even remember where I absorbed Popeye. It just was always, it just feels like it was always around. Definitely we sang songs in the playground too. And the other thing about Popeye for me was visually, he was always tied to my grandpa, my dad's dad. And there was which is weird because he was a pilot, not a sailor at all. But I think as a kid, it's a similar thing, like a pilot, a sailor, they both drive vehicles or something. I don't know. But I think also, it's not like you would look at a picture of my grandpa and think oh, it looks like Popeye. But as a kid, there was just something about Popeye that was tied to my grandpa. And yeah, it was just always around. I had actually blocked though, until you mentioned Popeye, and I totally forgotten about that. I put up some mental block, and I'm sorry.
No, so it's funny you say that because my grandpa was a sailor. He was in the Navy during pipe and had one eye.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so for me, there was definitely like this, this connection to my grandpa as well. I have a lot of cousins. I had cousins who used to play Popeye, and one of them like definitely spent about 2 years of his life insisting he was wimpy, and trying to get his mother to make him burgers for free. But it was, yeah, so for me it was a lot of absorbing it.
Did your grandfather think that they were making fun of him?
No, because I don't think my grandfather ever really, he liked Popeye too. He was a big
Oh,
Popeye
okay.
fan, so it was not, I don't think it was oh, grandpa looks like Popeye. It was sort of family affair. John?
I think we almost have a cantankerous old relative that reminds us of Popeye, because it's really amazing. Well, I have to say one thing. Canned spinach as a kid, I think was one of the worst inventions that humans have ever come up with. I mean, so I didn't buy that. I couldn't get into none of the kids I knew could. But I want to talk a little bit about the animations, because I watched those, and I still watch some recently, and I have to say, the timing on those still holds up. I hold to the highest regard Chuck Jones, who's one of my all-time favorite live animators, and some of the Popeye stuff is right up there with that. I love the one where Bluto, he puts up Popeye has a diner, and Bluto, right across the street, puts up his own diner, and they do this back and forth competition, and there's so much slapstick and humor, and they're so funny. And it's great that you can still get those. You can stream them on YouTube, you can watch them. But Popeye, the books, the reading as a kid, my brother had some Popeye, and I read it there. But it's interesting. I'm also amazed at the universality, is that the word?
Yes.
Of Popeye. I had an intern who was working for me years ago, and she was in Greece, and she brought as a souvenir this little Popeye book. It's all in Greek. And it's funny, you can tell what's going on. I can't read the language, but you can tell what's going on by the pictures. And the fact that it holds up all across the world, the fans from all walks of life can find some common denominator in these characters and relate to them. And I think that says a lot about the strip and the comic.
That's something that for me, organizing this project, I really discovered, because I've worked with so many different cartoonists and also artists from sort of other walks of life